All right, what is going on, good kind of people? Lee Tammy Sanders here. You guys are checking out an all new Wrestling with the Topics. Dropping this bad boy for you guys the weekend of October 30th, 2022, as we are just less than 24 hours away from Halloween. Now, technically, you want to get technical. Well, actually, it starts at 12:01. Yeah, like some people, they get their freaking. I'm talking about adults, but generally around this same time that we're recording this episode right now, we are live. So if you guys are ever around on social media outlets, we do let you guys know when we're going live. You guys can join in and interact and all that good stuff and everything, FYI. But yeah, we're like less than 24 hours from when everybody is pretty much going to be going out there. It's so interesting because since I've been at work these past couple of weeks, I've been noticing more and more people that's obviously been buying the Halloween candy, but I didn't realize how ridiculous the price has been for the candy, because I'm looking at these people and I'm just seeing the amount of candy. And it's not much. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing. It's not much candy. I've seen probably on average about, I would say maybe 3 to 5 bags of candy. And it's, it's not like it's these great big ass bags of enormous candy. I'm talking about maybe like a 20 piece, maybe like a 15 piece, some stupid crap like that. And the damn stuff costs damn near $30. $30 for fucking candy. I just couldn't help but look at that and go, my God, how the times have changed. I mean, you want to talk about some serious damn inflation that's going on. It don't get no crazier than that. I'm talking about 5 little funky bags of candy. You're lucky if you get 10 to 15 pieces in them. And it's damn near $30. Well, I just want to say to them so bad, you do better going to the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, but you get what you pay for on that. Now, grant you, yes, I totally agree in reference to the inflation part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, you also have, so those bags of candy, right? Not only is it more expensive, less amount of pieces, but the pieces are actually smaller as well. So I actually bought, I think, a couple of bags a few weeks ago. Lee wanted some candy, so I said, well, I'm here at the store, so I'll just grab something, right? So, and I went to open the bag, and the Reese's Cups, most of us as kids, right, or even as much as a couple of years ago, you got a standard size Reese's Cup, right? That's what you got. Shit. Now they're putting in the miniatures. And then your Hershey's candy, they used to give you like a one, for lack of better words, one sleeve, right? Like a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get one little piece that might be 1.5 by 1.5. Like the one little piece. It's not anything that you would even look at as a piece of candy. It's more like a whetting your appetite type of thing. So, and that's, I guess, how they combat keeping the prices a little bit cheaper. But still, it's, yeah. Well, it's funny because trick-or-treating has kind of gotten a little less. I'm not saying it's going away, but it's gotten less to Halloween parties, family gatherings, and doing their own thing. Because, people could trust. They, whatever have you, right? So, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. It's just crazy what's been going on as of late, I personally feel. Because, I mean, the prices. And then, I mean, we're still not back to 100%. So, I mean, we're still dealing with a pandemic. So, to my point, who the hell is really going to be walking around?
Oh, please. Most people are still going to go trick-or-treating. Most people, if you have peep it out next time, really.
Look, the only people that's going to be...
In your normal day-to-day, seriously, in your normal day-to-day, just really stop and take a look at the world around you.
What's up, Eddie?
All that stuff is gone back to the way it was. Traffic, lines, all of it. All of it. You would think that there is no more pandemic, and to some people, there isn't. So,
it's just weird. It's just weird, man. I'm just. All right, let's have real talk for a second. I hate to go grim, but since we're on this topic, do you think in our lifetime, okay, so we probably got about maybe, knocking on wood, good health, diet, exercising, we probably got about at least another 30 to 40 years in us. Yeah. We do it just right. 40's kind of pushing it, but I think we definitely got at least a good 35 in us, okay? Do you think in our lifetime Halloween will eventually phase out altogether? I'm just looking at the current trends, and let me just explain where I'm coming from without being so long-winded here. As you know, I've been taking a course in sociology. That's been one of my college classes. And I've just been learning more and more and more what I've already known, but it's just been breaking it down in layman's terms, helping me really understand how we got to this point. But the fact that we are in this digital age where most young people, they don't even want to talk on the phone. They are fucking not picking up their phones.
Oh no, the interaction is
right. But to one point, they're not picking up the phones. Anybody that calls them, they're letting it go to voicemail. Unless it's for mom or dad, they're letting it go to voicemail. They are pretty much in a text me phase, or they will find out what they need to find out on Facebook, things of that nature. And yeah, you still have them hanging out with, their inner circle of friends here and there and everything, but we're just doing this whole digital age stuff, this digital turn that we're in and everything. And we know how it was when it came to Halloween, when we were growing up as kids in the 80s. I mean, it was a festive, magical event. And, probably the only downside to Halloween was when, unfortunately, you had to find out the hard way. Yeah, you're too old to be trick-or-treating. You're like, oh, well, I guess I got to retire now. For me, I had to learn the hard way. I think I learned the hard way at, it was either 16 or 17 when I got the, aren't you a little too old to be trick-or-treating? And I did the Mike
did you
Tyson.
Pull one of those, let me just go in a jeans and t-shirt and a pillowcase?
No.
Oh, so you actually dressed up?
I dressed up. I did the full-blown makeup because when I was getting into my later teens, I started doing my own makeup. So I was doing crazy shit. I think the final year that I had did trick-or-treating and I was told, aren't you a little too old? I actually did a pretty good... I was either Brandon Lee's The Crow or I was one of the robbers from Dead Presidents.
That makes sense.
I was one of those two, and I definitely know for certain one of those final 2 years I did Brandon Lee's The Crow. I had it down pack and everything. Wasn't no cheap knockoff. I mean, I really went in on the makeup detail. Yeah, I went in big time, and that's when it was kind of like, okay, right. Now, normally, once you get the, okay, you're too old, and I want to make sure people understand exactly where I'm coming from, where I feel like it's going to be phased out. When I say I feel like in our lifetime, and if it's even possible, if Halloween will be phased out altogether, what I'm talking about specifically is this whole trick-or-treating bullshit. I think there's always going to be teens, adults that's going to be having little parties and all that other shit. I think that's going to remain intact. But in this day and age that we're in, where you can go on a website and you can find out how many child molesters live just down the street from you, and then all these motherfuckers that's doing this road rage bullshit. I was literally watching the news last night, not getting off topic, but there was a guy for no apparent reason that was shooting in the back of this vehicle that had an 11-month-old toddler in it, and the guy was following them for like about 5 miles before finally breaking off. Luckily, that baby is okay, but I mean, if the bullet would have been just an inch, just by an inch, because they did the markers and all that, and that it would have been an entirely different story. Right? I don't think that baby would be with us. But in this day and age, to my point, where we got all these fucking nuts that's running around, and like, you feel where I'm coming from? It's like, okay, do we, is this really gonna be a thing while we're still alive?
Okay, so to your point, right? When we first moved into the area that we live in now, not we as in myself and Lee, but my family, right?
Okay.
So, can I tell you, the very first year we moved in, we were excited. It was a brand new house, and so on and so forth. Right. All right. We bought a massive amount of candy, like a massive amount. Like there was probably 10 bags of candy, probably, and every single solitary bag was gone, and they were still knocking for at least another 45 minutes. Okay, so fast forward to now, and it's actually a little odd for someone of my age to see, because that actually shows you kind of where we are in society. Back then, right? Now you go into now. It gets dark at what, 5:30, 5:45? Normally I would have been able to see kind of what's happening, right? But I work, no, of course it's on a different day but there are some years when I'm not working at night. But on the days when it's like a Tuesday or something, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so where's all the kids? You're used to, at 5 o'clock to 5:30, you're starting to see kids line up. And in groups.
Right.
And now you just see kind of little trickles, really, and it's just weird. It's just weird to see that, because you knew what it was, but everybody pretty much has gone into I'm going to some kind of private function,
there you go,
church function,
right,
family function, or friend function.
Yeah.
Because it's, I can trust this.
Right.
Number one.
Right.
Number two, agreed with in reference to, this day and age that we're in, talking to one another, it seems to be more of a thing of the past, for some age groups. They would prefer to, have their conversations their own ways, right? All right, so it just is. It's really weird, and it's the evolution of it. And to your point, I can see that trick-or-treating eventually may be a thing of the past, as far as going to strangers' homes and taking a pumpkin or whatever, and say trick or treat, kind of thing. those were fun times in reference to my childhood. I did it till probably about 12 or 13, and I got the "Aren't You Too Old for This?"
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And I dressed up. But I will tell you, I'll never forget. There was one of the years that we still had quite a few kids come into the house. There were a pair of teenagers, and they had nothing. They didn't even try. It was literally a pair of jeans, a t-shirt, and a pillowcase. Trick or treat. And I'm giving them the side eye, like, really? Like, I would have been like, okay, if Lee had come up to me, like, I tried, right? This is my jam. I'd be like, you know what? Props to you. Here's some candy. But don't even try. I mean, you might as well go up and say, can I have some candy?
You're much too kind, because I remember when I was living in Chantilly. We also did it in Waldorf, and I remember me and my buddies from high school. We had spent those respected years out front, passing out. We were just sitting on some fold-out chairs or whatever, and we had a couple of open containers of alcohol, and we were just getting our drink on, playing our music, and everything. And we had trick-or-treaters that we were hooking them up, but man, the motherfuckers that did not, to your point, even try, oh, we blazed they asses up. I remember I looked at some of those motherfuckers. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? You ain't got no costume. You couldn't find no pillowcase. Get a pair of scissors. Boom, you a spooky looking ghost. My dude, you need free food like that? Like, is that bad, my dude? Like, you really, dude? We shamed the fuck out of them. We didn't give a fuck. We was shamed the fuck out of them. Like, no, you don't need no costume. You don't need no candy. What you need to do is go take your ass down the street somewhere, get yourself a job. Go help an old lady across the street. Go volunteer to wash somebody's car. Go volunteer to do somebody's lawn. Hell, carry somebody's groceries. Wash somebody's windows. Go do something. Walk somebody's dog. Take their cat out, something, right? It's like, nah, you get your candy money that way. Like, nah, you ain't getting the hookup over here, no. Right? And
they probably went 3 doors down and said, hey, treat.
Oh no, some of them, we shamed them so bad. We saw them leave the complex after we blazed them up. Cause no, we was the type of like, hey, everybody, look at this fool right here.
Oh.
Like, man ain't got no nothing, man. Like, but man, they ain't got no goddamn pumpkin, right? Little pumpkin dish, so they could get the cat. No, motherfuckers just out there, trick or treat, and putting their hands up, trick or treat. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you gotta try. I mean, you can't go to no Dollar Tree. You can't go to Walmart, get you some makeup. I mean, damn, you couldn't go get you a fucking wig? Like, really, dude? Like, oh, we had fun blazing them up. I didn't give a fuck. I did not give a fuck. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens within the next 30 years. What goes down. Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting, because I just feel, to your point, I think it's gonna go down in that direction. We'll see. So I wasn't even gonna talk about this. This is apparently something wrestling related, and the one time of 2 times that we're going to be talking about wrestling here on this show. But this first one, I was not even going to talk about. I just happened to open up Twitter, and I see someone that is friends with a lot of our friends that's in the podcasting world as well. I see JD from New York apparently was trending. And he apparently was trending for, honestly, the right reasons, but the wrong reasons. So, full context. As most of you guys know, I cover AEW Rampage over on the Full One Mania site. And normally, when I'm doing my thing over there, I get to hear a little bit of what's going to be going down on next week's Dynamite. Now, apparently, there was a match that was announced that did not make it on this Friday's Rampage. Instead, it looks like this announcement was made sometime Saturday. And it was by All Elite Wrestling on their social media campaign. In this case, I'm looking at Twitter because this is where everything had popped off. And basically, AEW had promoted the fact that Marina Shafir is going to be getting another title shot against Jade Cargill for her TBS championship. JD responded to this saying, please, for the love of God, no. And he just, this was his opinion. And look, I know exactly where he's coming from. I have said many times that Jade Cargill, you've seen enough of Jade Cargill, stunningly beautiful, looks like a Marvel comic book character. She's got a lot going on body-wise, has a fantastic look. And, she looks like money. Yeah, I've sung high praises of her for a long time now. Very green in the ring, though. She's coming along, but she's really only as good as the opponent that she's dancing with. So to hear that she's going to be taking on Marina Shafir, who, let's be honest, Madison Rayne is supposed to be the now AEW women's coach down there. Marina Shafir is one of those women that honestly has no business being on TV right now because her wrestling is that bad.
Oof.
Her wrestling is that bad. At least Jade looks the part. She looks like somebody you need to have your eyes on and everything. But again, you can only mask but so much. If I know your flaws, the last thing I'm going to do is put you in a situation where your flaws are going to be exposed. And right. I have a feeling that for both of these girls, it's actually a bad idea that they're going to be locking up against each other. So for JD to make the comment that he made, I see no issue with it whatsoever. And, full context, and look, this probably ain't going to really sound like a surprise to nobody, but, just for the record, I don't care for JD. It's nothing personal against the guy. I know he's got his own, and that's the thing. Every podcaster, whether you're talking about wrestling or not, every podcaster has their unique style. Every podcaster has their own shtick. They've got their own gimmick and everything, okay? Mm-hmm. And JD is somebody I've come across off and on that was part of the whole YouTube community many years back. He was somebody that I felt was pretty loud. Just my personal opinion. I felt he was pretty loud. I felt he was pretty obnoxious. I didn't agree with a lot of the things that he said, but I respected the fact that here's a guy that's willing to go in there. He's willing to put in the time. He's willing to put in the energy. He's willing to put in the effort. And as a result of that, he's building a great following. Hats off to him. And I just kept it moving along, right? Isn't that nice, right? Isn't that so diplomatic? In this day and age, when you don't agree with something, it's amazing how people just have a fucking temper tantrum. Well, fuck you. You suck. And all this other shit when you don't like the same shit that they like. It's amazing. It really is. Anyway, so I don't have a problem with what JD had said right here. And, JD has come a long way. He is a commentator for the House of Glory promotion. He does that with our friend and Jason Solomon of Solomon Monster Sounds Off, right? So he's basically, this is a guy that has respectfully, he's chipped away. He's done a lot of good for himself, right down to the point he's got a blue check mark, right? I know a lot of people care about the blue check mark. I personally don't, but he's got a blue check mark. So Jade Cargill, apparently, to my point, said, damn, I heard you all the way from your mom's basement. Calm down, Mark. And Jade Cargill's fans have just been obliterating the hell out of JD with so much hate, with a lot of venom. I'm looking at a lot of the comments that's coming in here. I mean, there's some nice little, funny little gifts. They got one guy that's on a that's got a neck brace and he's on a stretcher and all that other shit. When it's so savage, you need a minute to appreciate it. They got an image of Randy Savage. Yeah, cook that dork, Jade. All that other shit. And here's another one. I mean, this is amazing how it gets out of hand. How it got out of hand here. How it got to this point is beyond me. Cook that racist. Now I'm trying to understand
how that would apply.
Did I miss something? I didn't see anything from JD's tweet that implied anything about him being racist. Now, again, I may not like JD's style, but I've seen enough of the guy off and on from over the years to tell you guys he's not racist. I don't even know the guy, but just based off what I've seen of him and his work and everything over the years, he's not a racist. But apparently, since he's putting down a match that involves a black woman and with a name like Shafir, you would like to believe that's not straight up white. I'd be shocked to hear if it was, if Marina Shafir was, in fact, actually white. But just the fact that, it's a minority or two that's in there, the fact that this person doesn't like it, they are automatically a racist. So that's the route we're going.
Never mind the talent, the abilities, anything else that he might be basing his opinion on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really taking it to the extreme.
This is social media, folks.
Yeah,
this is social media these days. Whenever you don't agree with something somebody says, you are automatically a racist, or you are automatically a Republican, or you are automatically a Trump supporter. You're automatically anti-abortion, or whatever. You fill in the blank.
Yeah.
This is social media these days. This is why I have regressed more and more from social media. Like right down to the point, I'll just live tweet when a couple of shows are on, wrestling or non-wrestling, some sports events. I'll show some love, and I'll interact with those that I know ain't no nut.
Right.
You said it, Chloe. I'll interact with them, but like other than that, I'm just pretty much straight, and I keep it, to the point basically. And this is just very disturbing to see, that all these people are just coming out here. And you know what? Here's a person that makes a lot of sense. I want to read you guys this tweet. Here's a person that makes a lot of sense, but you don't see this tweet blowing up. You don't see this tweet blowing up. I will never understand pro wrestlers who waste their time commenting on people's opinions when I'm sure they themselves have posted or said negative opinions or say sports teams, movies, etc. at some point. Just ignore it. Go perform. Have fun. Do the match and live the best life. That only got 3 likes.
Sure, because it was actually a positive response to
it is
a negative thing.
It is. Jade picked the wrong person here because, first of all, and I don't even think she was really going out of her way to really read this guy's profile. And this is a message to all aspiring wrestlers, you wrestlers that maybe are on the AEW dark shows each week. You're at some point seen on TV or whatever. This is look. Real talk. If you're going to go after somebody on social media, I want you to do something. First thing I want you to do, I want you to pull up that person's profile. When you pull up that person's profile, if you see that person has a total of 5 followers, like they haven't even cracked 100, and you see that they're following a gazillion people, but their followers, they ain't even got 100.
Not even double digits.
Right, not even double digits. I just want you to pause and just say, damn, am I really going to give this person real estate like that in my brain where I respond to this? Or do you just go on ahead, let me just hit the mute button, keep it moving along? You ain't got to block a motherfucker. Maybe if they say something extreme, you know, racist or very derogatory, all right, go for the block button. But just mute. You never see them again. Okay? Now, let's flip it. If you see that this person, in this case JD, has 4,500,000 followers, that's 45K. That's 4,500,000, right? Yeah.
45,000.
45,000. Okay. Not 4,500, 45,000.
Right.
Yeah, okay. I'm making sure I'm saying it right. Right? You okay, wow, this guy's got a following.
Mm-hmm. Established.
This guy's established. Oh shit, this guy's got a blue check mark. You know what? I don't really know that much about this guy, but if he's got this kind of pull, and this could be something that could go back and forth with me and their respective fan base. Let me not exactly go down this rabbit hole. I don't think I need to die on this hill.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the mute button, but if you're gonna go there toe to toe with, you know, and here's the thing, Jade Cargill, this is from a black man talking about another black person. I have seen Jade Cargill, these same people that are defending her and all this other shit. This is the same Jade Cargill who I saw some months back go after an independent artist because they had did a really cool caricature drawing of her, and they basically were selling it as prints and stuff on their site. And Jade was mad.
Did they draw it?
They drew it. And Jade was mad because he was using her name and likeliness without her permission, and basically she wanted some money. And she was blazing him up, and then, you know, the way that she was coming, you know, explaining it to her fans were like with pitchforks. Yeah, that's so wrong. Look at this guy, desperate for fucking attention. Oh yeah, fuck that dude. What the fuck is wrong with him? Fucking troll. But I mean, it was so bad. And the guy stood his ground. He's like, hey, I didn't mean any disrespect. Seriously, it's like all I was doing. First of all, I'm a big fan of yours.
Right.
And I do drawing of wrestlers all the time. And if I decide that I want to, you know, make some artwork be available, you know, of said wrestlers on my site or whatever, and I'm going to charge a fee, then that's my respected right. I can do so. Like,
It's called being an artist.
right, it's called being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
How you think Rob Schamberger eventually got a job with WWE? The guy just started off in his fucking apartment, condo, or whatever. He's doing fucking drawings of his favorite artists. Oh, damn. That's pretty fucking cool, man. That's rad, man. You very talented. Thank you. Networking. And now he works for WWE and has been for years now, right? Most wrestlers, hey, man, that looks pretty damn good. Hey, how would you like to make some really cool t-shirt designs for me? I've been looking for somebody to, you know, and we can go 60-40, or we could go, but this, my point, this is the same Jay Cargill, right, that lit up that fan that wasn't doing anything wrong. And then when he tried to pull the artwork, and he tried to do something where he tried to hide it or some shit. You know, see? Jay's like, see? Look at the shit he's doing. He's like, no, you fucking obliterated him without privately messaging him and all this other shit.
Yep.
And then he was attacked by your fan base because of the narrative that you fed them,
so
right?
What else do you expect?
What the fuck do you expect? What the fuck do you expect? Mm-hmm. Right? I have seen this woman on social media come off, I hate to use the pun, but not jaded, but very bipolar towards her fan base. And to the point when shit doesn't go her way,
Oh, I'm leaving Twitter for it's too much for me. You all are.
And then 3 days later, she's back. Like nothing ain't happened.
So basically, you can dish it, but you can't take it.
Exactly.
Which that is pretty funny. You know, there's so many big bad keyboard warriors out now. You know, it's so much easier for people to blast, be negative, do something silly, or say something silly behind a computer where nobody knows who you really, really are. You know, what you're really about. So all they have to go on is the negativity that you're spewing. And they find it humorous, funny, and some people get their jollies off on it.
This is a guy who, when you want to talk about AEW, I do know this much about JD. He has given more praise to AEW than he has to WWE. Now, I don't know where he stands right now with the current takeover by Triple H and crew. I don't know if he's pretty much like me, Jason, and the other guys, whether you've been at it for as long as we have, or you've been at it for a year or a few months. I don't know if he's on the side of, I like the changes that Paul Levesque and crew are doing. Like, I don't know. But the stuff that I do remember of JD, very, very complimentary, very praising of AEW, right? Very pro AEW. So for him to, get this type of bullshit his way is very disgusting. And I see, he did try to clarify, not that he needed to clarify, but he said, all I said was in so many words, I didn't care to see a specific match this coming Wednesday. Going to take a trip to see my grandma. I'll see you guys later tonight. It's
Yeah, that's pretty much putting it in layman's terms.
Yeah. He right before that he said, you would think I fucking murdered someone in cold blood by saying so and so sucks on this platform. Are you fucking serious? That's how you are as a professional. Chooses to start your day. Yeah, exactly. I'm just going through the rest of this. Oh, hang on here. So, oh wow. So she okay. So she wasn't one and done. All right. So JD, seemingly you of all people, I would hope you use better insults. Quite sad you lower yourself to the fucking shit that dwells on this app. Secondly, I have zero problem with you. Never have. And I've never expressed nothing but praise for you. Third, Marina sucks. Have a great day. I have no problem with any of what he said right now. I know I definitely know for a fact he has been complimentary of Jade. That much I do know. Jade coming right back. Better insults like what? Like, I'll buy your whack ass podcast in real life. Don't fuck with my coworkers. It's 11:44 a.m. on a Sunday, and I wake up to you trying to shit on someone. Don't shit on anyone when I doubt your ass can do a pull on your best day. Look, you know what? If Jade feels, no, you know what? This is real talk. Man, I'm so pissed off about this. Is real talk. Wrestlers, athletes, celebrities, listen up. This woman who constantly, I don't know if it's a Tony Khan idea or what, but we're fucking constantly being reminded, oh, Jade Cargill, oh, she's the beast. Who can stop the unstoppable Jade? Oh, she's just murdering the competition left and right. Oh, she's so evil. Look at what she did. Oh, so heinous. And yet, as soon as she's done with that despicable, heinous act, what's the first fucking thing Jade Cargill does? Goes and hugs her fucking kid that's live in attendance. Okay, look, are you a heel? Are you a babyface? Because if you're a heel, okay, great. You got a kid. To pull a Brock Lesnar quote, you got kids. I got kids too. But guess what? fuck your kids. Okay?
Leave them behind the curtain.
Right.
Or hug them there.
Right. Right. If you're presented as a heel, like, okay, so that's the first thing. Here's the second thing. This is real talk. Jade is constantly reminding us, or Tony Khan, whoever the fuck it is constantly reminding us, Jade Cargill is a mother to a small little girl. Okay, well, that being the case, someday her daughter is going to hear about incidents like this and go, Mommy, what the fuck? What were you doing? Why are you wasting your time going back and forth with some podcaster, even if he is kind of famous, right? You know, because he had a blue check mark apparently, Mommy. Why would you go back and forth with, you know, why weren't you busy making me pancakes? Why were you on the Twitter responding to a podcaster when you could have been just making me pancakes and we could have been watching cartoons and, right? Okay, so lead by example, right? Now, the way I would have responded to this tweet, some of you guys would say, well, how the fuck should she have responded to this, Lee, if she was trying to stick up for herself and Marina Shafir? Simple. JD, I'm very sorry you feel that way, but you know what? I promise you, me and Marina, we're going to hit it out of the park this Wednesday. You just wait and see.
And that's all she had to say.
Right. Don't think you're going to be seeing anything special, huh? This coming Wednesday. Okay, all right. You're going to be in for a shocker. Just watch. Plain and simple. Plain, and if you had to respond to it, that's the way you fucking come at it. That's the way you fucking come at it. Right? I like how she's manning up trying to cover for her co-worker. So obviously it stings to her that Marina is, you know, hey, look, I'm like this. It doesn't matter what profession you're in. We all can use room for improvement.
Yep.
The greatest sin that can ever be committed is to keep doing what you're doing, thinking that you ain't doing nothing wrong, and then you have to find out the hard way, yeah, you actually weren't supposed to be doing that. That's totally wrong. Because now you're thinking, you know, hey, this is just in my due, and I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just doing as I was basically taught. How am I supposed to know any better and everything, right? So you look at Brandy Rhodes. I'm sure Brandy Rhodes had her fair share of online criticism. You think she took it to a point where she was lashing out at fans the way Jade Cargill? No, I'm quite certain. And look, if you're about it. You're going to be like, look, I know I need to get better at this. Anybody in any job, I don't care who you are. If you have a conscience and you know you're sucking at your job and you want to get better at it, if you have a fucking conscience, you're going to be like, tell me how I need to improve. What can I do to get better? Okay? JD ain't the only one that has said, yo, Marina Shafir, that girl's rough to watch, or Jade Cargill, that girl's rough to... There has been plenty other fucking fans. We all won't be the first. We all won't be the last. But, you know, these wrestlers, these athletes, they need to do a better job in taking constructive criticism and just counter it the way that I'm suggesting, or if it burns you up that much, just hit the mute button. What is so goddamn fucking hard about hitting the mute button? Seriously, it's the greatest fucking thing that's ever been fucking created. You don't like something that somebody says, you mute the son of a bitch, and you never have to hear from them or see their shit ever again. Right down to the point, if for whatever respected reason you happen to be in the same inner circle as another individual that happens to follow that person you muted a long time ago, guess what? Soon as you see, you know, oh, my friend Paul retweeted, I can't read that. Wonder what's going on there. Soon as you click on it, it's going to say, this is not available. Like, well, why isn't it available? When you open it up, you're going to see, oh, apparently this is somebody I muted. Who did I mute? Oh, this motherfucker. Yeah, I don't give a damn what they got to say anyway. Plain and simple.
So, really, truly, I agree with Lee in reference to the mute button. You know, I mean, if she's really that burned up about it, let that fuel you. Instead of, or if you just don't give two shits, then don't respond. Because you basically having a whole back and forth with this person because you feel like their opinion of whatever it's going to be is something that you need to respond to. Well, first of all, that's really a waste of your time. Second of all, it's only going to grow. And so you have two choices. Buy into the negativity, which apparently hook, line, and sinker. That's exactly what happened. Or let it fuel you. You know what? Is there some constructive criticism that I can take away from that? Okay, well, you know what? All right, my promos suck. All right, let me get better at it. Food for thought.
This is bullshit, man. Seriously, it's just bullshit. I see LH is saying that he's a JD fan, and apparently JD has always been rude about Jade, and that Jade just basically snapped today. Look, I don't, like I said, I don't check him out like that. And I told you guys, full transparency, like, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he says. He's not my cup of tea, but I respect what he does. I respect any listener that checks him out. You know, but he's just not my cup of tea. But, you know, if he has been, and, you know, I know some wrestlers, they check out some people, and they got a list. They got a list. It's kind of like, you know, like, you'd be surprised. And I'm not just saying this just to be saying this, but longtime listeners will know this. They'll know the person that I'm getting ready to mention without mentioning their name. But when I say, hey, you don't know what wrestlers are actually going out of their way, and I've had quite a few, not in the double digits, but I've had quite a few AEW wrestlers, I mean, actually on TV, that have actually either popped up in my stream, and it was legit them, or I was sent a DM message afterwards. You'd be surprised who is actually making their rounds, seeing what people are saying. Without giving too much away, I remember there was one wrestler in particular that popped up during one of my AEW Dynamite post shows. And I called them out. I said, oh, blah, 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 with the handle. Oh, it's obviously not them. It's just some fake me out, pretend account. And next thing I know, as soon as I said that, within 90 seconds, I got a follow on Twitter. I'm like, oh, this is that fan made. And then I go like, oh shit, it's actually them. I go on I'll go back to the YouTube. I look at, like, oh shit. Like it's so I trust me when I say to you guys that there are wrestlers that they make their rounds. They see what people are saying about their company, you know, their promotion, you know, their product, their matches. They got a list. They kind of know who's who and who is. You're just spitting venom. You're just spitting hate. Fuck you. I know what you're about. And okay, yeah, all right. You're sincerely offering that constructive criticism. Okay, I can respect that, you know, and all this other shit. But that's just, you know, the crazy thing, before I get off of this, he didn't even at these girls. He just responded to AEW's tweet. And yet Jade went out of her way not once but twice. And even when he said what he said in regards to Jade, you know, that I just would have left that alone. That's just me. I just would have left that alone. So some nice, interesting drama going down this weekend. You know, he likes the Triple H era, but we'll criticize what he don't like. Yeah, I mean, that's, dude, Eddie, you just described like practically every podcaster. You know, it's like, and if you don't, and not that that's a bad thing, but it's like that's literally, you know, hey, this era was cool, or I like this generation of wrestling, and oh man, you know, it's like everybody's gonna be a critic, you know.
Podcasting is an opinion-based show.
It is much like social media.
Yes.
Much like social media. I don't give a damn if a person has a blue check mark or not. What I care about is the consistency in the opinions that they're putting out there, and if they can truly be unbiased in a way where, okay, you know what? Like, perfect example. For all the, you know, the venom, the way it comes off sometimes, that Skip Bayless will give LeBron James, okay? The phony GOAT. Oh, you talking about that Bubblelicious championship that he won in the bubble? That Bubblelicious championship? For all the venom that Skip Bayless will give LeBron James, when it is in LeBron James' due,
He gives it.
Skip will give it. Okay? And as long as you are, you know, you can dish it out, but when it's time to give praise, as long as you can truly be unbiased and give that nod, then you're all right. Perfect example. And we'll segue. Perfect example. I had reviewed this Friday's AEW Rampage on the website, 401mania.com. Every Friday. If you guys aren't around, you're not able to watch the show, just go on the site. I'm providing live written up coverage, recap, and review. My point, I gave this Friday's Rampage a 5 out of 10. I felt it was a slightly below average episode, something that wasn't honestly going to be memorable. I also recommended that Tony Khan and crew, they start pumping the brakes on Jon Moxley. You know, what was kind of cool to have him appear on Rampages to kind of spice it up, try to bring in some more viewership. Now, just the whole idea of having him wrestle twice a week on TV, nah, and he's the world champion. Now, we kind of need to scale back before that magical luster, you know,
goes away.
Right. And, you know, majority of the comments that came in, you know, yeah, this was a throwaway episode for sure. And then there were some people, man, you're too harsh. I felt that this was easily a 7 or an 8. You know, some, you know, I would have gave it a 6, but that's just me. I feel a 5 is a little too. And then I had some people, what the fuck is wrong with this reviewer? This was a live Rampage. This should have been an 8 out of 10. What the fuck is wrong with him? So because this shit is live, I'm supposed to give it a fucking higher rating? That's like tuning into a fucking basketball game on the NBA on TNT on a Tuesday or NBA TV or ESPN on a Friday. You know, oh, it's a live basketball game. Well, apparently it's the Knicks and the Wizards. Well, so two of the shittiest fucking teams that's like out there, right? Just previous years, right? They're two of the shittiest teams. This is gonna be a good game. Well, when two pieces of shit, you know, are together, I mean, I guess if you want to call it a good game, yeah, sure, but when nobody's scoring and, you know,
or okay, same type of scenario, right? Some of us are somewhat familiar with the remakes that Norman Lear did recently, within the last 3 to 5 years. Okay, so that would basically be me saying we should give the Jeffersons, just say the remake of the Jeffersons, right? We should give that one an 8 versus a 5 because it was live. It's still shit. I mean, it wasn't bad.
yeah,
But it wasn't the original, number one.
right.
Number two, the chemistry just wasn't there.
Right. But still.
But either way,
But to the point.
it's still the same
Right.
rehashed scenario.
There are, you know, I'm learning that these AEW
fans.
zealots. I choose to call them AEW zealots because that's what they are. They are the same zealots that went to war there for Jade Cargill. Okay, they are. Woo. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say, man. They
moving right along.
They got their head screwed on a little. Yeah. So from there, what else can we get into on here? That was I did not plan on going into that, by the way. You may hear we're a little bit congested right now. This is from the Bret Hart meet and greet, by the way. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out that meet and greet experience, I would recommend at this point check out the written up article I did. That's been picking up a lot of steam. Even the guys from the Squared Circle Collectible Store have been spreading that article around. Go read the article first, and then if you want even more context, check out the last episode of Wrestling with the Topics. Check it out on YouTube. I didn't learn this until minutes before we went live on the air. There is apparently 2 recent shows, one of the WoW recaps and then the Bret Hart Experience, the audio version. Just the audio version that's on demand, not on demand, but on the downloads. Apparently, it was mixed down, right? But half the audio is missing.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Now, that's not an issue on the YouTube channel. It's intact. But for whatever respected reason, those 2... The only thing that I can think of that changed recently is the fact that when I'm now mixing the audio and I'm saving it, instead of using Drive C, I've been using Drive D. So I'm wondering if maybe that might have been the issue. I was also dealing with storage space capacity on Storage C, Drive C. So I've cleaned it up now. I still got a lot more space I need to clean up. But right now, Drive C is pushing 12 gigabytes, whereas Drive D is pushing over 680 gigabytes. So to my point, anybody that's been going out of their way to listen to the shows for downloads, I am aware of that issue, and I'm going to make sure that we're on top of it and everything. But to the point, apparently I got sick from the meet and greet, not because of, far as I know, any people that were near me. It just got cold so quick out there. And I came down with a nasty congestion, cough. Luckily, my mucus didn't turn yellow or anything. But I ended up feeling pretty good, I would say, after Tuesday. Tuesday, I was sweating profusely. I couldn't even make it to work. I just said, I barely had enough energy for classes, and I was like, yeah, no. And then poor Tams ended up catching my cold. So, not good whatsoever there. So if we sound a little nasally, a little congested, now you guys kind of know what's been going on there. So what do you think about what's been going on with Tom Brady there? I mean, we kind of talked about it loosely there, but to really, go there now. Tom Brady, it looks like his divorce with Giselle, it's officially underway. And I got to be honest with you guys, even if you were to tell me, oh, Lee, Bucks won today, right? I would still say to you guys, Tom Brady, to me, from what I've seen off and on these past few weeks of this new season, seems distracted. He does not seem to be on his A game. And let me tell you something, when you have something like a divorce that's going on, right? Obviously, I'm no Tom Brady. Obviously, I ain't got no Tom Brady money. Lord knows if I did have Tom Brady money, I would still be doing the shows. But I sure as hell would be doing a lot of traveling, let me tell you. But where I can relate to Tom Brady, because I've been there, I've done that, I know the playbook, I do know what it's like to go through a divorce. And without it, going too in depth, right? My head, I just, when I found out about my my divorce from my late ex-wife, the way I found out while I was on the clock. And it was you know, it was hilarious because at the time, well, obviously it wasn't hilarious back then, but you know, if you like black humor, right, black comedy, it's kind of wow, it's kind of fucking funny, fucked up, right? But you know, I'm on the clock and I text her and I said, hey, I was thinking about going to 7-Eleven and picking up a slice of pizza or two. You want something? Anything you want? And she texts me back, yeah, I'm not gonna be home tonight. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, you gonna go hang out with the parents, huh? Okay, cool. Yeah, tell them I said hi. When will you be back? When can I expect you back? I left you a note. And I started putting 2 and 2 together, and I just immediately went to fucking calling her. I mean, it kept going to voicemail. I must have called her like 5 times or whatever, and she finally picked up. And then, you know, once I pretty much find out, I mean, my head was just, I was out of the loop. I was out of it. You know, the only thing I could think of at that point was, oh my God, like, okay, I got my job. I got some type of money coming in. And once I calmed down, obviously, but like the first few days, oh my God, and the roughest was when I had those days off to myself where I didn't have to deal with work for a couple of days. And it's like, oh shit, now I'm sitting in my own thoughts. That's the last place I want to be, right? So I can imagine in regards to Tom Brady, he's trying to do everything right now. Everything that he is doing right now, again, been there, done that. He comes off to me like he's running from a problem. You know, hey, you got this issue that's happening in your relationship. Okay, what are you willing to do to try and fix it? Right? What are you willing to do to try and make it work? Yeah, you know, look, I'll deal with that later. Like, okay, are you not dealing with it because deep down inside, to admit that there is an issue, particularly with this relationship, is to admit that you are in fact flawed, that you are in fact not as perfect as you try to make it out to be publicly with your G.O. Willikers and you know, and all that other shit, right? That the persona is actually fractured, right? Of what you're trying to portray to folks, right? And you know, that's how it comes off to me from personal experience. And for me, looking back, there were signs definitely there that, oh man, if I don't get on top of this, if I don't try to, you know, and I just kept diverting. And eventually it just kind of blew up in my face and everything. And I would imagine, I would not be surprised to hear that Giselle was the one that basically said, hey, you know, matter of fact, I think some of the reports were that Giselle.
Some reports that says it's an ultimatum.
That Giselle said,
it's either football or me.
Yeah. I mean, can you just stop and imagine that for a second? You just go, yeah, I'm gonna go with football.
That's
fuck the kids, fuck the
family,
you know, fuck the family. Yeah, I won all these Super Bowls. Yeah, I won all these championships. Yeah, you know, but I'm just gonna go on ahead and I'm just gonna keep doing this.
It's a whole lot like I want my cake and I want my cake and what is it?
You want your cake and you want to eat it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, those, you know, he wanted football, but he wanted the family dynamic there with it too.
Yeah.
You know, you can't continue to say, yeah, this is my last year. Yes, this. I mean, really, if you go back and think about it, it's been at least 3 or 4 years, and this is my before the retirement part.
Yeah.
3 to 4 years of maybe it is my last year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is, right? you can't, as a family dynamic of someone who is already asking you, okay, so when is it going to be? You know, when are we going to that next chapter? And you're like, oh, well, just a little bit more time. Just a little bit more time. And then you finally get what you want, where he retires. And then it's like, psych.
You know what his situation reminds me of? I can't believe I'm going with this reference, but stay with me. It reminds me of Sanford and Son, where Donna keeps, for the longest time, Donna kept wondering, when is Fred going to actually marry her? Yeah, Fred has given her the engagement ring. Yeah, they are going to get married, but Fred is continuing to see other women here and there, although Donna is supposed to be his main squeeze, right? And she keeps asking him. And we see this play out for a few seasons where finally she says, look, I've got an offer from another person. And, I do have feelings for them, as well, just as I have feelings for you and everything. But I need to know, are we going to get married or not? Because if we're not going to do this, then I need to strongly consider this other proposal that's come my way. And we saw, I won't put any spoilers out there, but we saw how that had played out with Fred, at the end and everything. That's how I'm looking at Tom Brady when it came to, hey, when are you going to come spend some time with me, with the kids? When are we going to be able to work on our marriage? Look, I'll bring it more, because that's probably outdated for younger listeners. I'll bring it more up to date. Doreen Gensler. Now, those of you that don't know Doreen Gensler, I wouldn't expect you to unless you actually
live in the DMV,
the DMV, the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. But Doreen Gensler is a respected news journalist that has been with WRC, Channel 4 TV, NBC umbrella. She's been with them for over 33 years. She made her announcement this week, as a matter of fact, on the Friday news broadcast at 6 and 11, that she's going to be retiring in November. She's going to be retiring, I think, she's going to stay with them until either Thanksgiving Eve or Thanksgiving Day.
The week of Thanksgiving. Her last day is on the 21st.
Yeah. Well, I think not. I think she's extending it.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think she extended it. Yeah. So, but to the point, she had made the announcement. You'll see the correlation here. So she didn't say this during the 11 o'clock, but I learned from doing research that she went more in depth about this at 6. So the main focal point, selling point of her retiring now is because the death of her best friend, Wendy Rieger, really shook her to the core.
Oh, yeah.
And Wendy Rieger was another News 4 journalist that came in literally 1 year before Doreen got there. The way, just look, I might have it wrong.
Okay.
But either way, from the way it was spun was basically one got there and then the next year the other person followed.
Okay.
So
that makes sense,
so
yes.
to Doreen's point, Doreen and her, they bonded like sisters, and they just thick as thieves. They went through a lot together. And the death of Wendy had died due to terminal brain cancer last year. It was fucked up. Not to get too gory for you guys, but that death had really shook Doreen up, and it made her start thinking about, okay, well, where exactly would I like to see myself in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, and that combined with her husband retiring. That's why she just went on ahead, pulled the trigger, and said, okay, I'm going to go on ahead, and do this, while I'm still young, while I somewhat still have my health, while I'm still able to enjoy this quality time. Hey, I've spent so many decades, pretty much away from my family. My kids have gotten bigger and older before my very eyes. You know, so much time has flown by. You know, now I just want to slow it down a little bit. And, right, Tom Brady doesn't know how to.
He doesn't know how to turn it off.
He doesn't know how to turn it off and go that route.
No. To the point where he's not focused, as Lee was saying. To the point, I see a lot of differences in this Tom Brady versus last year.
Yeah.
I mean, almost a 180. You know, not focused, whiny, fussy. You know, I could go on a few other words, but to the point where you almost wonder, should he have come back? Because really, he went out in his last year the best way he could.
Yeah.
He tried in reference to getting to that prize trophy. It didn't work out. But running from that problem and not being able to turn football off, yes, it makes sense to go back to football, but when your head is not there and you're the quarterback, which is basically the orchestrator of the whole thing,
Right.
you can't have your head somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not one individual's fault or this individual's fault. It's, yes, it is as a team, true. But you have seen Brady work with pieces that you didn't even think could make work before.
Right.
And he made it work. So why all of a sudden now for this year it's a problem?
Right.
That's not the problem. So, yeah, in reference to that. So that just, it kind of, to be honest with you, in my personal opinion, a very, small, humble opinion, I think he should have stayed retired.
Yeah, it's sad when you hear that. You know, the last thing you want to hear is, your favorite actor, athlete, celebrity going through some stuff like this. And, but at the same time, you look at it and you just go, it's an eye-opening experience from the standpoint of, yeah, don't go in that direction. It's like that's what you don't want to do,
Yeah.
right? And it's just kind of one of those things. You just never really will know definitively why Tom
Right.
chose the way
He did.
he did. We'll never really know.
Unless he opens up about it, at a later date and time, you probably won't.
Yeah. And I hate speculating, but you just can't help but wonder if he was so pissed off about that retirement.
That whole thing.
Right.
And it being...
On his terms.
And not being on his terms.
Yeah. You just can't help but wonder.
Yeah.
You can't help but wonder.
Or if it was, well, maybe I tried this, it didn't work, so I'm gonna go back to football because that's what I know and love.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many variables there. That's really just mainly speculation.
Yeah.
You don't really know. You just know kind of what the media feeds you. Number one, and kind of what you see in the interpretation of it. So.
But there is a very valuable lesson as we segue. If you love the person that you're with, part of every relationship is compromise.
Yep.
Is communication. You gotta have both.
Uh-huh.
And when you don't have both, that's all I would say. When you don't have both, that's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
So we had tried the new Pizza Hut melts literally yesterday. I swear there was a booger with hair that I don't think is my hair. I know it ain't hair from the top of my head. I know it's not hair from my chinny chin and the sides of my face. If it was my hair, okay. But I'm pretty sure I had picked a booger with some hair that was on one of them. Could I try to put that to the side? Sure, I'll try to put that to the side.
No, he won't.
Yeah. So it reminds you, if anybody remembers the pizzones that Pizza Hut had back in the day. Remember how doughy those bad boys were, right? And how fulfilling those things were. I remember the first time I had a pizzone. My friend McKissick from Atlanta, he had came up to visit, and I remember we all were just shooting around, playing video games, and then it was, hey, what are we going to do for dinner? And forgive me, guys, my allergies is kind of kicking my butt here. I'm okay now. I said, they were like, yeah, what are we going to do for dinner? So we were, running through the gambit, and then Pizza Hut came up. And McKissick said, oh, yeah, I'm going to do the pizzone. I'm like, pizzone? What the hell is that? What was that? Pizza pussy? And, because it's like, pizzone? What the fuck? It's like, nah, it's like, you ever had a Hot Pocket? I'm like, yeah. Well, it's kind of like a Hot Pocket, but better. I'm like, wait, them nasty-ass Hot Pockets, you're telling me that this pizzone is better than a Hot Pocket? That can't be by much. He's like, it's delicious. You'll love it. You got to try it. I'm like, okay. So I ordered a pizzone. First pizzone I ever ordered, it was a meat lovers one. And man, when I bit into it, back then, it was, the dough, it was soft. Oh, man. And then the toppings, it was bursting with the meats. Oh, man. And the cheese, it was gooey. It was bubbly. It was so fucking orgasmic. I loved it. And I was hooked. And I remembered my late ex-wife. I remember when I told her about it. She was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, no, you gotta try it. And I remember I ordered it. And when she liked something, back then, she was sucker punch you so hard in the arm. And I remember when she bit into her pizzone, she was like, this is so damn good. And I was like, ow. It was so damn good. But Pizza Hut realized real quick, to my point, they realized real quick that, oh shit, we got something here. Because if you didn't want to do a fucking pizza, even a small pizza, you could just get you one of those pizzones. Hell, push come to shove, you could get you the little helping of the mac and cheese from back then. They did have mac and cheese. Man,
I don't remember how that tasted.
That mac and cheese was the fucking bomb. It was mac and cheese. Let's see if I remember it right. It was actually, talk for a little bit. My allergies is kicking my ass.
So the pizzone. So I'm gonna give you the differences. So the pizzone is a lot like kind of what Lee's saying, a Hot Pocket, or or the pizza version of a bean pie. So, that's kind of the version of it, right? Versus the new melts. Mm-hmm. So now it's just a much more crispier, thinner version, but it's open. Mm-hmm. So, not as much topping.
Yeah.
But flavorful. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Mine came without the extras, which was fine. Meaning, the hair and the rest of it that I heard about for the last 12 hours. But anyway, so I don't remember. I remember the pizzones, but I don't remember them like that. I think it was like, oh, this is good. I think for me, it was like, oh, this is good. Because I had it a couple times. And I do remember, oh, yeah, this is pretty good. Mm-hmm. Would I get it again? Probably. But I wasn't, like, over the moon about it. Mm-hmm. And then when I started thinking about it again, it was gone.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting, yeah. Back then, because the prices were good, to the point I was making
yeah.
earlier. Yeah, to the point I was making earlier. All you had to do was just get you a Pizzone, and you were good to go. Or, because, I mean, it was so hearty, and you had two halves, basically. Right? You could barely make it through the first half, honestly. That's how big those things were. I mean, you could literally just really split it in four pieces and maybe have some salad or some pasta. But to your point earlier, yeah, the mac and cheese, it was so damn good, man. I remember it had little bits of ham
You're
ham
talking
pieces.
about the mac with the bacon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty decent.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you were just talking about straight up mac.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So, you see these things, you're like melts, and you're kind of like, well, they kind of look like Pizzones. What's going on here, right? And it's literally a Pizzone 2.0, except worse, because they did not make it as doughy as before. Because I think most of you guys would agree. Once we all started getting hip to those Pizzones, and we were just buying those because for the longest time they were available for just $5. And Pizza Hut realized, oh shit, we're kind of. So what they started doing was skimping on the toppings. You would mainly
And
be
it wouldn't be as
eating.
good.
Oh yeah, and you would mainly be eating a lot of fucking dough and barely any toppings. So now with this melt that they're doing, I was about to say Pizzone, but now what they're doing with these melts, shaped, cut just like the Pizzones, but it's almost like your toppings are wrapped around a Domino's thin crust pizza. That's the best way I can describe it. If you all have ever had Domino's thin crust pizza, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, especially if you've ever done a loaded up meat lovers thin crust from Domino's. I mean, literally just take that, fold it in half, and that is essentially the Pizzone, right?
Except for the melt, except for the other half has a little bit more bread on it.
Yes. The other half, yeah, because it's interesting the way that they do it, because it seems as though the way that they do it, one side has the cheese, all the toppings loaded on it, and then the other side has a thin layer of cheese, just a thin layer. But yeah, it seems like, it almost kind of seems like you're eating a folded up sandwich, though. And they wanted, depending on your neck of the woods, $6.99. I would say not worth it. If you want to get an honest opinion, I would say it's not worth it. Don't get it. You're not missing out on anything. If you insist on getting it, I would recommend that you get it with some other type of side, maybe some wings if that's your preference, or get some pasta, breadsticks or whatever. I would say do that. It's funny because I remember when we sat down and we were eating it, I actually went through the first half of my melt, and I was still pretty damn hungry afterwards. So I actually ended up having, because wifey actually had brought home a box of Domino's cheese pizza. From time to time, usually on the weekends where she works, she has to order a bunch of food for the staff and everything. So one weekend it can be Potbelly, another weekend it can be Chick-fil-A, another weekend it could be Panera, and sometimes there'll be some extra food. So in this case, right, what I was saying to her, hey, let's go try the new Pizza Hut melts, and we're on our way over there. She's like, oh yeah, cool, yeah. Well, we already had made the plan to do it anyway, but she said, hey, not for nothing, but I got some Domino's cheese pizza in the back. I said, oh, okay, good. I was like, well, I know that's definitely going to taste good. And hey, push come to shove, melts suck, and we'll be all right. I thought for sure the melts were going to be pretty good. So if you're looking for me to rate it, I would say from a scale of 1 to 10, and I'm going to get Tams rating on it in a minute. I would say from a scale of 1 to 10, I would put the melts at, oh God, I would probably put it at a 5. I would put it at a 5. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think the Hot Pocket is better than the Melt. Now, how fucked up is that, right? We just got done talking about the Pizzone and how my friend McKissick was like, hey, the Pizzone, it's like a Hot Pocket, but 10 times better. You'll actually like it, right? It's like, and I can't stand fucking Hot Pockets. But in this particular case, I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's true. I personally find that a fucking Hot Pocket is 10 times better than what I had of the Melt. So take that for what it's worth. By the way, Tams went to go powder her nose real quick. She's when I say she's literally powdering her nose because she's got the sniffles. So she's coming back in a hot second. Real quick though, I'm seeing that there are even more wrestlers that are coming out in regards to this whole JD situation. So I'm really starting to understand what's going on here. There seems to be two tales of the tape in regards to this developing story, and I can't help but wow, if a lot of these wrestlers actually feel this way, that this is the way that JD has been coming off, then this might be a case right here where it's just been a long time coming, and today was essentially the day where, okay, enough is enough. We've pretty much had enough of this shit. As I'm seeing, I'll read to you some comments in a second. Hey, I just gave the, I don't know if you heard me, but I gave it a 5 out of 10. And I said that the Hot Pockets were better than that shit. So what say you?
Versus a Pizzone or versus what?
Just in general. But I did end up saying that I thought the Pizzone was 10 times better. Excuse me, I thought the Pizzone was 10 times better.
I would say if I like the crust on it. It's different. I do think it should have been a little bit cheesier. Mm-hmm. Now, grant you, we did go pick it up at our local, Pizza Hut that's not too far from the house, but it still wasn't warm enough for my liking. Mm-hmm. Scale of 1 to 10, 6.
Okay.
Probably a 6. Yeah.
Okay. So apparently, I didn't plan on going back to this, but I just happened to be on Twitter here, and that shit with JD. I mean, a lot more wrestlers, just since we've been on the air, are speaking out. And here's what Rebel, not Reba, had to say. He's not a victim, referring to JD. Opinions are one thing. This is not about a singular post. He has a history of insults, false accusations.
Accusation.
Yeah, my retainers are still on here. My Invisaligns. False accusations, defamation, slander, and libel. Enough is enough.
Wow.
Oh
shit.
I got that. Give me a second here. And she tells him to read it again. Your defensiveness is not allowing you to see straight. This is not about a singular post. You know what you have said. Not about me. All the women and men too, for that matter. Sonny Kiss, who I have a great deal, a lot of respect for. Me, Mish, Julian. I remember when we did the panel, we all were just singing the praises of Sonny Kiss there. Sonny Kiss chimed in. That's what I'm trying to understand. He's upset that someone clapped back at something rude he said. Like, honestly, it was about time. Hilarious that he's trying to play victim now. So, obviously there are a lot of wrestlers. This goes back to what I was talking about earlier, which is there are wrestlers that are making their rounds and they are checking out, what people are saying about their product, right? Their promotion, their in-ring ability and promos and all this other shit, and they're keeping tabs. They are taking fucking notes, okay? From, whoever just happens to be on live to let me go see what the Small Mom Pop podcast is saying. To, hey, I know these guys got a pretty damn good following. To, oh, well, let me see what was written up on the blah, blah, blah site. These men and women are making their fucking rounds. And, that's part of the reason why I think when I get ready to splice this, I think I'm going to have to include this with the first half and everything. But this is part of the reason why JD was never my cup of tea, because some of the stuff that he was saying, I felt that it was too extreme. I felt that it was coming off a bit personal, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. Yes, the JD that I remember watching, he would throw insults. He reminded me a lot of Bruce Blitz. I don't know if any of you guys remembered that guy, but back in the day, Bruce Blitz, my God, he was the king of when it came to insulting John Cena. This guy would just do an entire show just trashing the hell out of John Cena, and heaven forbid a situation occurred where you didn't agree with some of the things that he was saying about John Cena. He would power talk you. It would be your last time on that show. He would see to that. He would see to that, right? But where I felt Bruce really shined was the fact that Bruce, when it came to NBA basketball, he knew his shit. He knew his shit. He could tell you shit about Michael Jordan, the way that guy played, because he's from Chicago. He is a encyclopedia, not just when it comes to basketball, but when it comes to all things Michael Jordan. That's where he really shined the most. So, I remember how JD kind of reminded me of him from that standpoint. Like, okay, I don't care about this particular, but on some of this other stuff, yeah, he's, but if you've got these wrestlers, it's one thing if, okay, this one person over here, they're just all bent out of shape, right? But then when you get 2, 3, 4 people, 5 people that are weighing in, sooner or later, you got to go, wow, well, of all these people, there's
weight to it.
Yeah, there's weight to it. Where there's smoke, there's definitely fire. I'm not going to tell this man what he needs to do, because he's been podcasting for as long as I have, if not a little bit longer. That's for him to dig down deep, look within, and really dissect everything that he has said over the years, and if he has truly gone in the way that they have suggested, but all this shit, it's kind of validating why I don't give him the time or day.
True.
To my point.
In reference to, if you've got other people coming to this person's aid, in reference to, as a co-wrestler or as a friend or however, right? There's definitely some validity to it. As so many people have been saying, in reference to, this isn't an instance of a one and done. This is a repetitive thing. Grant you, yes, people are entitled to their opinion. But depending on how that opinion is spoken and what have you, after a while, is it hurtful? Is it, is it really being, it's definitely counterproductive, number one, but is it really helpful to the wrestler? And apparently not.
Britt Baker, somebody who I have definitely a lot of respect for. Yeah. So it's professional to post one-sided false information about what goes on backstage. We've been laughing at you for months. Deanna Purrazzo, who doesn't even work for fucking AEW, she works for Impact Wrestling. She posted a gif of a girl laughing, saying it's funny because it's true, agreeing with what Britt Baker had said there. So this is wow. That's all I got. This continues to be
and it'll continue for at least the next few hours.
Yeah. Jack Cassidy, wait a minute. You mean to tell me the JD from New York is one of the biggest clowns in IWC? Man, didn't see that coming. He's being sarcastic. Yeah, this is going to continue to, shit like this, it becomes a teachable moment, It becomes a teachable moment. Do you rise to the occasion? Do you man up? Do you take some type of self-accountability for any past transgressions, and try to make things right, try to let there be a clean slate, or do you ignore it? It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes out of that one. But who am I going to trust? Am I going to trust the wrestlers, or I'm obviously going to trust the wrestlers. I'm obviously going to trust the fucking wrestlers. So, kind of crazy. So, right before we get ready to call it, because we're already at about an hour 38, I'm just looking at the docket here, seeing if there's any other stuff.
Why don't we go out on a funny note?
All right.
A funny nut.
Funny nut? What?
No, funny nut.
Funny nut Cheerios.
Oh, Lord. Funny, but not funny.
Can I just say this real quick? Hold that thought. I watched John Wick for the very first time.
Are you sure you want to say that out loud?
Yes. I watched John Wick for the very first time.
So,
and I fucking loved it. I was talking to my guy at the comic book store yesterday as I was picking up my stash, as I like to call it. And last time I had talked to him, we were just going through our first impressions of the new She-Hulk series. And now that the series is over, for now, we were just going over what we thought about the season overall. And I mentioned to him how I saw John Wick for the very first time. And he said, I've yet to see John Wick. I said, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, dude, I heard so many things about it. It's like, I just happened to watch it on TV the other night. And now I'm kicking myself in the ass going, I can't believe I let all these years go by and I haven't watched it yet. And so me and another guy were basically telling him, look, have you ever seen The Bourne Identity? You've seen any of the Jason Bourne movies? And he's like, yeah. He's like, okay, it's like that, but times 10. Like, it's on crack. Like, it's good. You'll fucking love it. And that led me down another interesting rabbit hole, which is, will I ever... Now, some people may be shocked to hear this. I have yet to watch Black Panther. So it brings up the question, will I ever watch Black Panther now, right? And it's interesting because when I was a kid growing up, and I was into the comic books and everything, I never gravitated towards the Black Panther character. I always gravitated towards... I always gravitated to Cloak and Dagger. If we're gonna talk black superheroes, I gravitated towards Cloak from Cloak and Dagger. I gravitated towards Deathlock. I think Deathlock was a brother. You guys will have to correct me on that. I thought Deathlock was a brother. I could be wrong on that one. Who else did I gravitate towards? I gravitated towards Bishop from X-Men. Steel. Even despite the fact that it was ruined with that live action movie portrayed by Shaquille O'Neal, I gotta say, I'm still a sucker. Quietly, if I see that movie on, I will watch it, commercials or not. I will watch it, even though it's a very bad movie. Right? But Black Panther, I never, and I've heard all the hype. I've every single body that's a minority, like, I would imagine that Black Panther for them is probably how people felt when, what was that movie with Fred Williamson? Black Caesar? Mm-hmm. I would imagine like when Black Caesar, or better yet, when Shaft. Yeah. When probably Richard Shaft. Roundtree, the very first Shaft. I would imagine like that's their, right? That's their new generation. Mm-hmm. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'll ever sit down and watch Black Panther. It's nothing personal, nothing like that. Whether it's a case where it's on TV or, hey, it's free because it's part of this subscription, so you can watch it in 4K, no commercials. Your guess is as good as mine, but I do promise you guys, if I ever do sit down and watch it, I will definitely let you guys know. But I had to share the story about John Wick because I'm like, wow, they made like 4 going on 5 of these, right? And it's always been on the back burner, and I finally had watched it, and I just was like, yo, this is killer fucking good. What were you about to say?
Interesting enough on what you were just saying is Black Panther 2 is getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
Well, as we teased it off and on in reference to the week and what we were going to cover, and the never-ending saga of Kanye West.
I don't want to end on that note.
So all I'm gonna say is,
yeah,
in reference to that, it kind of feeds into the topic of the day. Sometimes it's just best that you keep your mouth shut.
You know what? Good way to go out. So, quick programming note. I'll say this. I'll say this. This is all I'm going to say. I've been saying this for a couple of years now. That motherfucker
needs help.
He is definitely going to be the next Donny Hathaway.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I'm telling you that right now. And those of you that know your music, you know how it ended for Donny Hathaway. If that guy, I would be shocked to hear that this man is still alive 5 years from now. I would be very shocked to hear that.
He is on a downward spiral.
Seriously.
He is.
Seriously. I would be very shocked. I'd be very shocked to hear that. He needs more than help, though. He also needs to be checkmated. Somebody needs to just, you think because you got all this money and that you could just pretty much act and treat anybody any old type of way, do without suffering any type of consequences. It needs to be more than just sponsors. Okay, I need to see record labels. I need to see fellow artists, fellow collaborators. I need to see you need to take self-accountability for your actions. And if this is how you're going to be rolling, well, yeah, man, you fucking piece of shit don't want no part of this whatsoever. I need to see it go down all across the board. All across the board. Motherfuckers need to hold his feet to the fire. Okay? Mm-hmm. Hold his feet to the fire while at the same time he gets himself the help that he needs. That's the sad part. If his mom was still alive, she'd have checkmated his ass. Mm-hmm. Because when she was alive, she had him in check. Agreed. He wasn't as bad. He wasn't as much of an asshole. If anything, the money and all that, the fame, if anything, and mother's passing, if anything, it just
amplified,
if you're already an asshole, just imagine what's going to happen when you drink booze, right? I mean,
Yep.
the beast is really going to come out even more, basically. It's just going to be untamed, right? That's how I look at it.
Agreed.
Quick programming note. So, Wild Women of Wrestling, it sucks too, man. It really sucks. So, there was this one third-party outlet I was able to watch Wild Women of Wrestling from for the past several weeks. And I was watching it through the CW57 from Philly. And it would come on at 11 o'clock at night, which is perfect. I'm all right with that. And what I would do afterwards, I would immediately go do a live post show. Great shit. Well, this third-party outlet who I was watching that channel out in Philly, they decided, we're not going to show this channel anymore. We're going to start showing WIPX channel 11. I'm like, what the fuck? So I know for a fact that the email went through because I actually had sent the email to these guys last weekend, and I said, hey guys, I really appreciate if you could do me a solid, and if you could, just for the Saturday nights, if you could put it back on the CW57, because I've actually been watching it, and I like watching the Wild Women of Wrestling on there. Like, if you could just if at any time if you could just make sure that it stays on for this time frame, that'd be great. So what happened Saturday, and you guys may have seen this if you were around in the Discord. So in Discord, I put out a little blast, kind of reminding folks and everything. Next thing you know, about an hour before WoW was supposed to come on, I double check to see, okay, great. Still got access to CW57. Perfect. Grab me a snack. I get in front of the fucking computer. About 45 minutes later, I'm ready to watch WoW. The son of a bitch has changed it to WPIX channel 11. So right at 11 o'clock, instead of WoW, I'm seeing fucking Jerry Seinfeld. I'm seeing an episode of Seinfeld. All that stupid shit. Like, what the fuck? So there's an outlet, and I do want to recommend this to you guys if you've been trying to check out Wild Women of Wrestling, but maybe because where you reside, you're not able to watch it, sadly. There is an outlet, and now that I'm really thinking about it, I'm pretty sure that when we were on the Jericho cruise, this is what they had used to somehow show on individual channels when you were flipping the dial and everything.
Oh yeah, that very, very, very limited.
Yeah, there's a site called US TV Now, and this is TV. Come on, hon. Let her be for a little bit. There's a site called US TV Now, and this is a site that's dedicated for television for folks that's in the U.S. military and U.S. citizens living abroad. Okay? This ain't no weird, stupid shit. This ain't no, no weird shit. Okay? This ain't no scam, nothing like that. As a matter of fact, they have some really good 5-star ratings through Trustpilot. Okay? So if you know anything about Trustpilot, those guys are pretty, on point and everything, right? So I've been testing them out off and on for the past couple of weeks, and they are very, very good. They have really good affordable plans, right down to the point. If you want to take them out on a one-day trial where you can pretty much access all the paid channels, right? Just to take it out on the spin, get access to watching stuff in HD, putting stuff on a DVR. You can do a one-day trial for $1.99. You go from there, you like that. The next tier up is $19. You get everything from the $1.99 one-day trial, except this go round, you'll be able to access movies on demand. They got a $29 tier. That $29 tier gets you everything from the first two, but now you get access to DVR. Okay? And then the next tier after that, actually, that's it. Those are the 3 tiers. Now, the last 2 that they have, they got something that is Tele Up Plus and DVR. Looks like that's like an additional $11.99. I'm trying to see exactly what the
actual
the details.
that allows you more space.
It might be. It's not really being specific. And then they got a Canada and DVR joint where you can get 4 Canadian channels of your favorite shows, sports, movies on your mobile. So I'm looking at that $29.99. I'm just looking at the Tele Up Plus DVR. Your favorite show, sports, and movies on your mobile device, tablet, laptop, smart TV, HD available, cancel anytime. So take that for what it's worth, but that's how I've been able to watch the last 2 episodes of Wild Women of Wrestling. So as far as new setup goes, as far as programming goes, what I'm planning on doing is Sunday evenings, WoW comes on at 5 o'clock on the East Coast. And then if you happen to miss that airing through US TV Now, there's one more airing that comes on. I believe it's at 11:30 at night until 12:30 on Sundays. So those are like your last 2 for those of you that can't really watch it during the day, because I know it comes on at some weird ass crazy fucking times, right? But 5 p.m. I'm gonna be in the Discord on Sundays streaming Wild Women of Wrestling. So if you want to come pop up in the Discord, you can do that. And then as soon as it's over, I'll be going on live, all the outlets, giving my thoughts on that week's show, all that good stuff. Okay? So do that. Check that out. Otherwise, next edition of the RCWR show is going to be on Monday night, Halloween night, 2022, after Raw goes off the air. So tune in for that. And one more time, if you need that site, that's ustvnow.com. Check them out. You'll definitely thank me later. Very cool, transparent company. I really like these guys. I'm very, very surprised they don't have a larger following. And just to kind of put a little bit of comfort to you all, they do have a blue check mark. So, do business with them in confidence. Okay? Do business with them in confidence. Get at us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. She's a beautiful and a lovely Tammy. Lee Sanders here. We're wishing all of you all to be safe and, most importantly, be kind to one another. We will see you guys next go round. Take care.